can do anything that we wanna do. Long as you got me, and I know I got you. We a team. No in between.
Okay, Miss Tanya. All right. Well, thank you for coming in. How long have we known each other?
Over 25 years.
You started in finance, right? So just give me a little bit of your background in terms of professionally.
So I started my career as a bond options trader at Salomon Brothers.
Right.
And we're both seasoned enough to remember Salomon Brothers.
Salomon Brothers. Wow.
So which was pretty badass.
And what kind of an environment was that? Because now we've got the Me Too movement, right? But when you're in there and it's the 80s, 90s, like mid-90s,
mid-90s.
But still, doesn't matter. It was a very different work environment than it would be now, I would imagine.
It was a very different work environment than it would be now. However, the sensitivities were already increasing. You know, when the Me Too movement started, I actually really felt for the women who want to advance their careers, because an overcorrection actually causes the same problem.
Right.
For example, cursing. When men cursed around me, we're on the Salomon Brothers trading floor. It's okay to curse. I'm cursing.
Right. It was always like your sweet, delicate young thing.
When they cursed around me, they'd apologize.
Got it.
And which was kind of a gentlemanly thing to do from their perspective.
Right.
But from my seat, it was almost a constant reminder that
you were different.
I couldn't hang with them.
You were on the outside. You were never going to be one of them.
I had a great 15 years on Wall Street. I loved it, enjoyed it. I left in 08, not because I wasn't having fun, but because another door opened to me.
Right.
That just made more sense at the time.
And so 07, 08 obviously was a
yeah, 07, 08 was very interesting, because in 07, we're in the wholesale market, so we know what's going on. It took until the fall of 08 to really express itself in the retail market.
Okay, so the fall in 2008 is what? So
the fall of 2008 was the real crash, when the banks collapsed, when there were mergers, Lehman, Barclays,
right. They just fell. It was overnight.
Stearns, Merrill. I mean, there was an overnight collapse of the banking system, and there were consolidation combinations.
So you could already feel
banks.
it coming.
So in the June of 07 was when we had the first indication by a huge widening of credit. But then in the spring of 08, I discovered Kabbalah, which is my spiritual practice.
Do a little tiny elevator pitch of what, not pitch, but explanation of what Kabbalah is.
So Kabbalah is a spiritual practice, and it actually, it's like it answered all the questions I had that I didn't even know I had.
I see the red
string. It was just so enlightening for me that everything in my life immediately started changing. I saw the world through a different lens. I saw the world through a lens of, everything's happening for a reason. In fact, everything is happening for me for a reason,
right.
as opposed to me. There was just such an alignment of, wow, I have so much more power and potency than I've ever known, and I have so much more ability to create change in my life and the life of others. So
how did that manifest? So you found a great opportunity came into your life.
So I studied 6 months like a student going to school. And I thought, I might have skipped that when I discovered Kabbalah, I walked out of my job in August 08. Everyone thought I was crazy. People were hanging on by their fingernails, and I'm saying, I'm so out of here.
I am so happy I'm out of here. I'm skipping out.
I'm skipping
out
of
here.
boys. And they're like, what?
You didn't invite me to bowling? I am out of the time.
It'll be a while before you can come back in, they were saying. You don't want to walk out the door. It might be a while before you can come back in.
I'm good.
And it was certainty.
Yeah.
It was just, I was so clear.
Right.
I was so clear on who I needed to become.
Okay.
I was so clear on not what I needed to do, but on who I needed to become. Okay. I was so clear on that I just skipped out of there. And I actually thought I was going back in 6 months. I thought, oh, New Year, January, I'll find another job. And I did. I did get a 7-figure offer from UBS. And at that point, I had discovered coaching, which was bringing all my worlds together. And now I had the credibility of the finance executive, the depth and grounding of a spiritual student. And so coaching created a platform. I created a platform for myself in coaching to bring those worlds together. Now, in 2010, I couldn't say, well, where's your consciousness?
How did you find your first client?
It was I'll have what she's having.
Okay. People were looking at you and saying, like, wow,
what
you're
have
glowing.
you done?
Right.
What's going on? What are you doing? And at first, I called myself a career coach. And so I managed to get the careercoach.com URL. So I just doubled down on that. I called myself a career coach. And I would go everywhere anyone would invite me. So if you said, hey, a bunch of us are going out to dinner, yes. I'm going to this speaking event, yes.
Right.
We're going on a trip I'm coming. And everywhere I would go, I would say, I'm a career coach. There wasn't one person who didn't say, oh, I need a career coach. So that's how it started. Within 3 months, I was fully booked and waitlisted.
Wow.
I just kept raising my prices and just getting the next client.
And were you meeting people in person? Because this is pre-Zoom.
I was meeting people in person.
Right.
I immediately rented an office on 44th between 5th and Madison.
Right.
And just set up a desk and 2 chairs, and
people would come
from
to see
7
you?
a.m. to 7 p.m. back to back.
Wow.
I was on the hour back to back, and it was magical.
And what's the name? What is
room.
the name of your coaching company?
Conductive.
Conductive.
Conductive leadership is all of what we've been talking about.
Got it.
It's leading with wholeness, with presence, and being a conductor and being conductive. That, like, I came into this business saying, well, wait a second, if I don't build a business, I can't help that many people.
Right.
And at some point, I quickly did the math, and for a coach to be full-time, but then I'm only helping 20, 30 people at a time. And so what? So that was my true north. I knew that, and I knew it had to get out there. The most difficult decision of my life, which was to hand over the keys on a 10-year lease. I'd spent $1 million to get out there.
So you pulled the cord on the big office. You moved out of the city for a period of time. COVID is, you come back into the city. What has that journey been like?
I think I was just in kind of, when you're in crisis mode and you don't panic?
Right. Yeah.
Sort
no, you're
like
dead calm.
Yeah. Stealth in an emergency mode. You can get frazzled and hair on fire about a bunch of things. But then when it gets really serious, you're like. And I was.
But were you also, because there could have been a part, and maybe there was a part, that you were like, I'm in West Hampton right now, and the kind of my business life is kind of just fallen off a cliff, where it could have felt like a break.
I wish I had. That's a regret.
Right.
Because I spun my wheels for a year.
And where did that come from, though? Was it like I have to be here because I've always been here? Was it like proving something to somebody? I
was so in love with what I had created.
Yeah.
I wish I had the vision, right? The sight to say, wow, this is really tough. This was a huge loss, and it's going to be a loss for a while. So I'm going to time out here, cry my eyes out, grieve this loss, and then
figure it out.
And then be present with my kids, and just and know that whatever I've created, I can create again.
Right.
I didn't. I was just like, well, this word pivot. Remember the word pivot?
Yeah, I use it all the time. You got to pivot.
It was such a big thing.
It was
such a pandemic word.
It was.
What are you pivoting to? What are you pivoting to? So like everything else, I had to become the master of the pivot now.
Okay.
I'm going to oversimplify it, but all that happened is we went from physical to virtual.
So that must be hard, because
it's
so much of this coaching and therapy is now done. I mean, so many therapists will never see you in person, and it's important to see people, but it's also important to be flexible. You can get a coaching in Minneapolis and somebody's on a business trip and, they can't meet with you, right?
I absolutely miss it. There's days I fantasize about drop them off at school at 8 and be at the office by 8:30,
Right.
and then get home in time for dinner. I miss it.
I mean, think about your life experience and, being on that trading floor and where you are now and the life that you've manifested, you've made happen. It hasn't been handed to you, any of it, right? None of it, right?
No.
I mean, are there times that you just sit there and go, wow?
I think the greatest accomplishment is being committed to who I'm becoming, as opposed to what I've done and what I've achieved. So I always remind myself, like I said, it's a practice, how far I've come and how far I have yet to go in my ambitions, my desires, and also what I want to create for other people.
Awesome. It's a great way to end. Thank you so much for coming.
Beautiful.
That's perfect. You brought us in. Thank you,
Awesome.
thank you, thank you.